Hey guys! Greetings from South Korea. I'm currently in Seoul at my accommodation and obviously in bed. I got this food from a restaurant called MUKBANG, and they're known for serving Korean food that's very healthy, because not all Korean food is healthy. So this here is black bean. Focus! Focus on the black bean. Might be too small, and I have to be kind of careful with this table because it shakes when I move. I don't have a proper tray right now, so anyhow, this is black bean, and there's a little bit of sesame seeds sprinkled on there. I want to say it's like 1% sweet, but it doesn't really taste like anything really. There's a saying that if you're bald and your hair is gray, if you eat a lot of black beans like this, then your hair will grow and your hair will become black as this bean. That's what they say in Korea, at least. The texture is firm to hard. A grandma with fragile teeth might be able to handle it. Not guaranteed. This meal I got for 9,500 won. So that's like about $8.50 USD. And this right here is a very simple bean sprout soup. As you can see, you got a little family of bean sprouts in there. Mostly bland, and it is a little spicy. I would say it's about 10% spicy. So that spiciness enters your mouth. It's spicy like instantly, but then it goes away in like 7 seconds. See, I'm okay already. It's no spicy. No hint of spiciness. It's like it never happened. And here we have seaweed. Let me give you a little close-up here. We have seaweed here, some kimchi, white kimchi, pek kimchi, and rice. This rice has pumpkin seeds on it, and it's a multi-grain rice. In Korea we call it japgokbap. And here we have duck meat, served with some veggies. I taste some sesame oil in that. Sometimes Korean food can be very flavorful. Some of the restaurants you go around here, like they have bold soups and stews. But this particular restaurant, it's like a clean and very healthy version of Korean food. You taste a little bit of onions in that. Even if you don't eat the onion with that meat soaked up some of the onion taste. I think it's my 5th day in Korea. I've been going on every day. Even like the first day, I had jet lag. I only slept 3 hours. I went up to Myeongdong. I did some skincare shopping. And man, the weather. Okay. People are saying how hot it is. So I was thinking it was gonna be extremely hot, but it's not as humid as I expected. So that's a good thing. It's like when people say a movie's really good, like you have to watch it, and they hype it up, right? And you go watch the movie, and it's like, it's not as awesome as people say it was, because in your mind it was like super awesome, right? Same thing with the weather here. People are like, oh my god, so hot. Oops. People are like, oh my god, so hot, so humid, oh my god, oh my god. So when I came here, I was expecting to be like, oh my god, but I was just like, oh, it's not that bad. I mean, yeah, by the end of the day, if you're walking around, you're like, oh, it feels kind of nasty, like your face. Whether or not you wear makeup on, by the end of the day, you feel kind of nasty and you got this like multi-layers of sweat. But still, it's not that bad. So right now I'm having kimchi. Ooh, that one's the spiciest of all these. Woo, definitely need to eat rice with that. So even though I am traveling, I've been keeping my normal routine that I had in the States. I mean, when I'm traveling, I don't have a gym. There's no guarantee I have access to a gym. So instead, I make up for workout time by walking a lot more. And in Seoul, you end up taking the subway station a lot. So you walk up and down stairs often. You know, when I was in Singapore, like escalators are very easy to access, like on your way to your train. But in Korea, there's not a lot of escalators every station. Like, not every station has a escalator. And some stations, like, there are so many stairs. In those cases, there typically is an escalator. However, I try to walk up the stairs manually whenever I can. It's an extra little exercise. So yeah, like, I've been trying to keep my normal routine. I wake up in the morning, I drink a cup of water, wash my face, have my probiotic pill, and before eating breakfast or anything, I like to meditate for at least 10 minutes, and then I like to read. I try to read as much as I can, and sometimes I just read 30 minutes, or I just try to read as many chapters as I can. But if I'm filming somewhere that's a little bit further away, then I start my day earlier. In the mornings, I like to cook up some vegetables. Very simple. I just put water in a pot, cut my vegetables up, like mushroom, broccoli, carrot, bell pepper. Just toss it in the pot, cook it for a little bit, and have it. And then typically for lunch, that's when I go out and eat something tasty, because that's when I'm filming as well. Depending on how much and what I eat for lunch, I may or may not have dinner. For dinner, if I do eat something, I try to eat clean. Clean meaning vegetables. On my other channel, that's where I'm going to be posting my Korean travel vlogs, because that channel is all about Korea. So you could check out there what I've been eating in Seoul. It's not coming apart. Tug of war. There we go. Some of the grains of rice, I don't know if the camera will focus on this, but it looks like lips. It has like a line in the middle. Interestingly, I've been reading more now that I'm traveling compared to when I was back in the States. I think it's a way of me trying to feel at home wherever I go. And this duck meat overall is pretty good, but the skin of it is very hard to bite into. So you really have to work in there, you know, massage it with your teeth. There's something that you learn from books that you can't always learn from this real world and through other people. And of course, vice versa. You can't learn everything through books. Sometimes you have to go experience it yourself. The thing about books, though, is like every book you read, you get to know a character. It's like the writer is a friend. I know when you meet up with your friends, they're like, oh my gosh, she did this, or like he did this, or like, have you heard that was happening? And then sometimes you talk about the psychology, like, why do they do that? You know, motivations. And you also learn about different types of perspectives that people have. And even like a sci-fi novel, there's a lot of symbolism in it that is representing something in the real world. Sci-fi novels, you could still learn about friendship, you can learn about love, you can learn about loyalty. There's like 8 billion people and counting on Earth currently. You're not going to be able to meet all of them. I don't know about you guys, but every so often I feel like, do I really belong in this century? There's certain things in this world that don't really fit with me 100%. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way too, and it's just not just me. Sometimes I wonder, like, oh, I wonder what it would have been like to live in the 1920s or 1930s. But we're not in the 1920s and 1930s, and no one is from that era. Well, unless they're like a really old grandpa or grandma. But the longer time passes by, those grandpas and grandmas won't even be around to share their stories and their insight and their type of thinking. So books are like it's a documentation. At times it preserves a history. You know, some people say that I'm so lucky to be traveling, that I'm going on a long vacation, but I would only call it lucky if this trip was all paid for by someone else or I won the lotto. But to some degree, I suppose I'm lucky. However, I made some sacrifices to save up as much money and make as much money as I can before embarking on my long-term trip in Asia. You know, like sometimes even my close friends, they're like, hey, let's go party. I'm like, no. Because if you party in California, it's not that cheap. And sometimes if you're partying in Asia, it could be so cheap. Sometimes you don't even have to spend a dime. Like in Singapore, if you go out on ladies' night on Wednesday, you could get like unlimited, like free flow at the clubs. In America, a different story. If you're gonna go clubbing in Los Angeles, like downtown area, you have to pay a cover fee. $20, $30, right? On top of that, LA is highly car-centric. There's not much, you know, the public transportation, it's making progress, but who's gonna take a bus to the nightclub in Los Angeles? So anyhow, you're gonna take a car to the club. Hopefully you do carpool, because each car you valet, easily 20 bucks. The actual valet base might be like $17, 17, but you have to pay tip, right? Now in Asia, well, I haven't been to all Asian countries, but like Korea, Singapore, you don't have to pay tip. Sometimes people think you have to be pretty rich or fairly rich to travel. That's not true. It depends on what kind of traveler you are. If you like to pamper yourself and you like shopping a lot, then you definitely need a fatter wallet to travel. However, some places in Thailand, you pay for massage only $10, and if you like shopping for like more local clothing, then it might be cheaper. But if we're talking about like you like going shopping for brand name stuff and like going to get like $100 massage, that's a different story. So before you travel, it's good to ask yourself, what kind of travel, what kind of vacation, what kind of trip do I want? Is it food based? Is it shopping based? And then from that, you start making calculations on how much you're gonna spend for everything in your trip. And then you figure out how much money you have to save. And you're like, okay, every week I have to save this much money. I can't go over like $50 a day or like $10 a day. There are more languages than what we know. What I mean is, we have, how many countries do we have right now? Last time I checked, it was like 211 countries. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. You know, the world is always changing, so numbers change. Yeah, like the number of spoken languages, those are not the only languages that exist. There's spoken language, there's like a physical language, like, you know, mannerisms. There's also, like sometimes when you are thinking in a certain way, you could spot another person who's similar to you, and you just understand them. You guys are speaking a similar language. Not the spoken one necessarily, but thinking. Don't you love it when you have just the right amount of rice to go with everything else that's flavorful? Some sometimes people think that traveling is an escape. Sometimes it could be an effective tool for escape, but not all the time. It depends on your mind. Because, yeah, if you're a negative person and you travel and whatever you do, you might still think negative. You can't escape from that. You know, however, if you're... So depending on the mode, the perspective you have, yourself, you can't escape from yourself when you're traveling. So you can potentially escape from, like physically escape from people in your life. But when it comes to the way you view things, you can't escape from it. You might be able to change it. You might meet people who open your eyes. I have a thing where every little piece of food on my plate, it must not be abandoned. It must not be left behind. That's clean. A little bit more bean sprouts in there. Done. That was a good amount of food. I'm like a little past full. I almost got dessert from this restaurant, but I knew this would be enough for me. I hope you guys enjoyed eating with me. If you ate with me, what did you eat? And what should I eat next? There are certain foods that are available in Seoul that was not available to me in my hometown. So I'm gonna look for those and hopefully do a mukbang on those foods. Now I will continue doing mukbang on this channel. If you want to see like strictly Korean travel vlogs, check out my other channel, Sweet and Tasty TV. If I start putting travel vlogs, Korean travel vlogs on this channel, those two channels is gonna start like looking too same. So I'm trying to like, you know, compartmentalize. I'm trying to keep it as neat as possible. Oh, so full. Let me move this table to the side. Alright. Maybe I should take a nap? Oi! Oh, so full! This video will go up on Thursday, so I'll see you guys next Tuesday. See you guys later. Bye-bye. I just made it to SFO with Mommy O. I thought I got a window seat, but somehow I got... Because I don't know what's with my hormones these days, but on the plane, when some horchatas, you could taste like a little graininess to it. Chicken mole enchilada. Peekaboo! Ah, that's a taco. Hard shell taco. She finishes her food way faster than I do.